One year, when I was perhaps 4 years old, perhaps even younger, I was in the room where we kept our Christmas tree. The tree was decorated with lovely, shining ornaments. Silver tinsel draped over the branches, catching the light of real wax candles that flickered all around me. Nearby was a window that looked out onto the street. Its curtains shimmered in the light, adding a certain mystery and magic to the scene. It was on that day that I made two eventful discoveries. The first was that if I held a lit wax candle behind the curtains, the light sparkled beautifully through the delicate fabric, transforming it into something sublime and mesmerizing. The second thing I discovered was that curtains are flammable. As you might guess, the flame from the candle caught the fabric of the drapes and spread quickly, threatening the walls and ceiling of our home. I screamed in fright. My parents ran in from the other room and quickly pulled down the drapes and stamped out the fire, preventing what could have been a terrible tragedy. Once the danger was over, the charred remains of our once beautiful window trimmings littered the floor. The now bare window loomed behind me, cold and condemning. And I stood timidly in front of my mother and father without explanation or excuse. I knew with all the certainty of a 4-year-old boy that I had ruined Christmas. And I've noticed that it's not only 4-year-olds who have this misunderstanding. Sometimes it seems that our efforts to have a perfect Christmas season are like a game of Jenga. You know, the one played with small wooden blocks that are precariously stacked up to a tower, and we try to increase the height of the tower. We pull out one wooden block before we can place it on top of the delicate structure. I'm sure you have played this before. Each of those little wooden blocks is a symbol of the perfect Christmas events we so desperately want to have. We have in our minds a picture of how everything should be. The perfect tree, the perfect lights, the perfect gifts, and the perfect family events. We might even want to recreate some magical moment we remember from Christmases past. And nothing short of perfection will do. Sooner or later, something unpleasant occurs. The wooden blocks tumble, the drapes catch fire, the turkey burns, the sweater is the wrong size, the toys are missing batteries, the children quarrel, the pressure rises, and the picture-perfect Christmas we had imagined, the magic we had intended to create, shatters around us. If we are only willing to open our hearts and minds to the spirit of Christmas, we will recognize wonderful things happening around us that will direct or redirect our attention to the sublime. It is usually something small. We read a verse of scripture, we hear a sacred carol, and really perhaps listen to its words maybe for the first time. Or we witness a sincere expression of love. In these precious moments, we realize what we feel and know in our heart, that Christmas is really about the Christ. It is Christmas and some of the cherished traditions of the season that remind us that we, like the wise man of old, should seek the Christ and lay before him the most precious of gifts, a broken heart and a contrite spirit. We should offer him our love. We should give him our willingness to take upon ourselves his name and walk in the path of discipleship. We should promise to remember him always, to emulate his example, and to go about doing good.